Liverpool had just 34% possession in this game, but still looked like absolute champions-elect, winning 2-0 using a very different approach, going from average positions like this to an average position of this in terms of the whole group. We're going to break down why this works so well. We're going to talk about the amount of dribbles that Doku had. 13 successful dribbles against Trent, but it meant absolutely nothing. You know why? Because of this. This is why Trent not only won the game, but I think actually won the battle if you look that little bit closer. And we will break down that second goal that I don't think people will break down properly, and they won't really understand the utter genius that Mohamed Salah shows with just one touch. I was going through the goal and I was just like, oh my God, did you actually just do that? First question for you guys, Liverpool fans in particular, and just neutrals, I guess. The overall temperature of that game felt really funny to me. The fact that Man City had the ball as much as they did, but Liverpool felt as comfortable as they did. I'm going to give my thoughts on why I think that was. But in terms of that overall kind of tension of you feeling like the goal is coming, it just didn't feel like that at all. And for, as I say, this Liverpool side to have so little possession, but to still be as effective as they were, it spoke volumes about just how good and how hard they work, Liverpool, but how they really are kind of champions. There was a moment in like the second minute where Van Dijk looked at Alisson because he hadn't come for a cross. And Alisson kind of was like, okay. And they got a corner. Man City got a corner. Man City started pretty well in this game. And then the next cross came in and Alisson just went pluck. That is what champions do. And it feels really easy to say this, but what I'm really loving about football right now is the fact that it's not about possession anymore. It really, really isn't. It's what you do with it, which will be a massive theme in this video. Liverpool fans, let me know how you're feeling. You're close now. Do you feel like you're going to get yourselves over the line? Let's have a look at the lineups here. Now, this is what I think a lot of people thought was going to happen. Erling Haaland didn't play in this game, and that led to a huge problem where, yeah, you guessed it, in the penalty box, but also in terms of the predictability of this Man City team and how they attacked. They tried to do something different, and actually, for the first 15 minutes, there were a few little moments of hope there, but I think the problem was that in possession and out of possession, they kind of reverted to type. And by that, I mean that positional play, which I think is feeling quite dated right now. There's one moment, which I'll talk to you about, where Man City didn't do that. They played with that little bit more relationism, and it worked wonders for them, that bit of individuality. But structurally, this is where they set up. They actually swapped it round. Foden played as, essentially a false nine, but kind of dealing with the two centre-backs and trying to get in the box at times. And Marmoush played in his, normal position, which I think after the game against Real Madrid, they wanted to get him in those areas. But the two of them did swap at different times. Sometimes he'd drop and Foden would stay up, and sometimes the other way around, just to come and help out in build-up. But what did happen a lot of the time was this. De Bruyne would be out here, you'd have Foden, you'd have Marmoush, the five that they always want, and Rico Lewis would step in, Gvardiol would step in to help with that first line, and it was a 2-3 in that initial phase of build-up, and then you've got your lines here. 2, 3, and you got your 5. And what kind of worked for them initially is those different movements and also a real focus with trying to get down and over to this left-hand side. We saw it kind of regularly with the ball. What they were trying to do and what Phil Foden was trying to do was trying to stop that pass across. They were trying to keep the ball, I felt, over on this left-hand side as much as possible so that they can maybe win it, maybe half up the pitch a little bit. And then if they were able to win the ball, they wanted to go down that left-hand side a lot of the time. And I actually don't think that worked too well for them. Let's talk about Liverpool and their lineup, because I thought their lineup was really interesting as well. Both teams strikerless, really. I think we thought that Diaz might be the one that sort of steps up and plays in that central position because he has done that previously. But no, it was Szoboszlai and it was Jones, and then Diaz was coming over to this side. And this was a big part of the game as well in terms of the average positions and the sort of deep defensive out-of-possession state of Liverpool, but also having legs, having stamina, having players that could run, and you will see that for the goal. The second goal is everything that's great about Liverpool's performance in this game, in my opinion. So stick around for that. But that was the switch up there. And as I say, initially, Man City had just that little bit of joy. They were able to work the ball over to that side and able to get the ball to Doku. The problem came, like initially there were moments where Foden was dropping in here, they were able to get the ball, build up and move it over to that left-hand side, and there was an overload. There was often an overload, say with Salah being here, they were able to play through, and often it was one of these ones where Ake would get the ball. Where's the ball? Doku's got it, like he did most of the game, am I right? He'd play it, and then Lewis would come to help out, or Foden would come to help out, and you'd be able to play the ball out and get the ball over to Doku. But the desire throughout the game, certainly at the start of the game, was get the ball to Doku, let him have a go at Trent, and let's see what we can do from there. And here's an example of that, passing it, playing it through. I think one thing I will say, which I think is actually quite poignant, is the fact that Marmoush here just wants that ball over the top. Another Egyptian player just wants that ball quickly and a bit more directly, and they could have done that. But I think, as I say, in terms of referring to type, there is just still that desire to play it short all the time. But as you can see here, if we draw this line, what happened a lot of the time, and I thought this was a bit of a mistake as it progressed, is that Kevin De Bruyne was out of the game, isolated, and when he did get the ball, he wasn't able to do what he wanted to because there was no Erling Haaland. If we move it on, we see another one of these examples, Foden dropping in this time, and now Van Dijk's trying to kind of figure this out because there is a bit of an overload here for both Gravenberch and for Trent on that left-hand side. And so Doku's going to be able to get the ball, and then you're going to get yourself in trouble. Another one, Rico Lewis, sort of stepping in, having that bit of an overload, being able to beat that line here and play it over, and then you're going to get the ball to Doku. And Doku always really, really high. But the problem for them was it started to become predictable. They didn't play with that directness. I think when you think Liverpool, it was that bit more, it was direct, it was vertical at the right times. And that really, really hurt Man City. But for Man City, it was just that little bit more stagnant, and with the profiles and players that you had, and with a Liverpool team that was there to win the game. They were there to win the game. It meant that Man City became that little bit predictable. And you could see it with, there were moments when Marmoush would get it in this area here and he's going to kind of try and have that shot, but you were really ever going to score from there against Alisson Becker? I absolutely doubt it. In terms of that box presence, Foden trying to get involved, but nothing really happened there. And look, you can see these players all lined up, and actually De Bruyne just became irrelevant. I feel like we saw the end of De Bruyne today. I really did think that. And the same with Doku. Doku beat Trent several times in this game. But when he beat him, he was either going to cut in and he was going to put a cross into these lads, Foden, Marmoush and Savio. And he wasn't able to get his head up and really have that kind of guile to play the ball to someone like De Bruyne. And the other thing, if he did go down the line, if he did go down the line, Konate was there. He was there every single time. And it was so obvious that Liverpool were comfortable. They felt comfortable. They played comfortably. They defended comfortably and with humility. It was a team that was like, well, no, let's not go toe-to-toe. Let's understand what their weaknesses are, what our strengths are. Strengths that are underrated. Energy, dynamism, hard work, tenacity. The amount of times Luis Diaz, Jones, Szoboszlai, who we'll talk about, got back ball side to affect the game. In fact, one of their best moments in the game actually came from a bit of relationism instead of that positional play, that pass and go, that movement, and actually just going where you feel like you should go, where you can see the spaces, where you can affect the game. And importantly, actually, on this right-hand side, because this was one of the few moments, and this is just before the second goal. And it's one where Rico Lewis gets the ball here, but actually we're about to see Luis Diaz try to impact the game. But look, it's small margins and you can see it right there. But actually by Marmoush being able to make that run initially to this space, instead of staying always over on this side and always the whole game being played over on that side, they were able to affect it, create an overload and make life difficult and actually nearly get themselves a goal. Rico Lewis is able to shake off Luis Diaz and then he's able to play it to Foden. Foden's able to play it to Marmoush because he's in exactly the position you wouldn't expect him to be, just feeling it, affecting the game in behind, and sadly he was offside and so the goal doesn't count. But that is something that Man City just don't seem to have right now. They don't have that relationism between them. And that's a chemistry thing, but I think it's actually a coaching thing as well, because of what has been so ingrained in this group over a glorious decade. Let's talk about the first goal, because it's a simple one, but it's so well worked. I think what's really interesting here is that they've obviously realised that Phil Foden is going to be at that front post, most likely, because he's one of the smaller players, and you can affect the game from here. There is a conversation, just generally, please don't get angry with me, that is it obstruction? I just think with corners, this stuff happens all the time. So what on earth, how I wouldn't dare give it. And they probably shouldn't do. And look, if you're giving that, then are you giving this? Are you giving that? Are you giving this? But I've just seen a bit of conversation about it. And I would say kind of let that one go. And also, if you think about the game against between the pair of them last year, I think someone did the exact same thing. Kevin De Bruyne did that, and there was a block from another side. You see it every single game, and it's just kind of part of the game now. So, but it's an interesting discussion to have in time, at a calmer time, maybe not straight after a game, because as I say, there's going to be a lot of tit for tat with that. But great pass, great block by Robertson to win that one. The pass is beautiful. The movement from Salah is beautiful. The finish is so-so, but it's just really, really well worked. I don't think there's much more that you can say about the goal than that. So let's have a look at these average positions from the game, because as we say, territory was with Man City, but the overall threat just absolutely wasn't there. And the second goal is just a great example of it. But Liverpool, as you see, in terms of stopping Man City, which is a huge part of this if they are going to have the ball. As we say, Trent, I think he won 2 of his 13 ground duels. But what's really interesting here is, first of all, you've only got 3 players. And this also, just quickly, shows the threat of Liverpool and Mohamed Salah down that right-hand side. For him to have that lovely big red blob on the edge of the penalty area shows that, yes, they sat in, but also they were just so effective in hurting Man City in transition. But the one that I thought was so interesting here is this. Look at that red blob from Konaté. And this speaks volumes for Man City's inability to show something different. They're stuck in their same ways. And I think no one will talk about Konaté, but I thought he had an absolutely fantastic game, just shuffling across and helping out Trent time and time again. And actually, you can see the exact same thing here when I show you this. And it shows the difference between the roles of these two. This is Virgil van Dijk. This is the defensive actions, the areas of his defensive actions. Obviously, one nice and centrally, but if we focus on the width of it, using the whole of that penalty box to go and help the team and defend those areas of the box. But this was Konaté's. Look how tight that is. There was a clear focus, and they got this absolutely spot on. You had exactly the right guy there for you to do that, but also somewhat played into their hands in terms of beating Trent being one thing, and there'll be some compilation somewhere about him getting absolutely done, and so what, really, because it means absolutely nothing, because they were comfortable. They were comfortable throughout the game. Man City really had so little going for them because not having Erling Haaland, it's Foden in the box, and it was just incredibly ineffective, and it allowed someone like Konaté to move across. And Doku, when he got the ball, if he got the ball, which he did regularly, and he did beat Alexander-Arnold, it just meant that, let's forget the ball. Say he gets to the byline, Konaté's over there, Van Dijk's here, and now everyone's starting to move in. McAllister, Foden might come and get involved. Marmoush needs to focus on, Gravenberch needs to focus on Marmoush. Alexander-Arnold often was kind of out of it at this point. Szoboszlai was always there working back for the team. That was regularly happening. But in terms of him doing something, Savio at the back post, is he ever really going to be able to get it all the way through there? Very, very unlikely. And Konaté, time and again, was able to get to it tight to him anyway to make it very difficult. So that won't be touched upon enough. But I think Konaté deserves huge credit. I think he's been absolutely fantastic recently for Liverpool. And as I say, you can see it here with the tactics board, so many players deep, and you see the exact same when it comes to the average positions as well. But it didn't mean anything. They were so comfortable and they were so effective going forward as well. And we talk about Trent getting done a bit. Sure. But this matters so much more. And we're heading into the second goal now. Exciting times, because this goal is absolutely fantastic and people won't talk about it enough. But these long balls, you see the green ones here, that long ball to Salah, time and time again, was being found. And that is something that you can have as many touches as you want, Jeremy Doku. If the out ball and the output is not of that level, what does it mean? Yes, you're playing as the winger and you're getting all the touches, fine. And Trent's playing the defender and he's getting cooked, sure. But with the ball, the sort of relationship that he has with Salah means that goals can come pretty easy to a team that has 34% possession. And the goal is absolutely outstanding. And I think the place to start is actually the fact that this is a 1-2. This starts with a 1-2. Trent popping the ball back. Salah popping the ball back to Trent. It's just simple, easy stuff. And so you can have all these show reels of different things. But play it, spin, go. And the fact that he's willing to make those runs, Salah, he's gone. And actually, to be fair, if we go back one, the thing to remember here in all of this is Szoboszlai as well. Because Szoboszlai actually makes this run as well to help out the team. Remembering this is pretty much a strikerless team. You've got two midfielders playing there. Curtis Jones makes several sacrificial runs here, which we'll show you in just a second. And there's a lot going on. Another person to keep an eye on, Kevin De Bruyne as well. So the ball gets played back. And they think they're fine. And just like that, so quickly, you're going to see the distances. And it's distances that you would just absolutely never see because not enough pace and tempo when it comes to Man City, really, or not regularly enough. But with Liverpool, they work harder than you. They want it more than you, generally. And so the ball gets played back, the spin happens, off they go, and the pass is absolutely beautiful. It's the other way, isn't it? Come on, let's get it right. There we go. Stunning ball, over the top. Jeremy Doku doesn't get tight enough, and they're on their way. Now, the thing here that is utter genius is the touch from Salah. But prior to that, I've got to say, Gvardiol, and again, this is maybe one where you go, a hidden strength of Salah here is his ability to not get shaken off the ball, but also to be able to kind of understand the reference points, understand the weight balance of Gvardiol and to affect the game and get that bit of separation, because Gvardiol should be stronger and Gvardiol should do better, but he can't. So that's 50% for Salah and 50% Gvardiol needs to be so much more aggressive. And Man City generally defensively needs to be so much more aggressive. But let's follow this through because it's absolutely stunning stuff. And let's remember all those runners throughout this as well. So Curtis Jones, by the way, keep an eye on him. Szoboszlai's made this initial run. He's not going to stand still. He's going to make his way into the box. And your two players that are part of that box, but you haven't got a striker, they're going to get themselves into the box. Are they going to be tracked? Is their midfield counterpart going to work hard enough to get back? I think you know the answer. Now this is utter genius. I can't stress how incredible this is. Because what he does, the ball comes and a lot of players would knock it on. They'd get excited or they'd cut back completely. But what he does here is honestly unreal. Go back and watch the goal. Watch it at 0.5 and see this touch. Because this touch is up and behind Gvardiol. So that Gvardiol then has to stand up, stop, and from here, Salah has utter control. He also is able to get those reinforcements on their way to the penalty box. But he has utter control because of this touch, because this upward touch. I can't stress this enough. It's just incredible. So what he does here, he's now got him twisted because his body weight has gone from here to here, but delayed and late, to actually he's now leaning this way, but he's out of sync with Salah's feet now. Whereas initially they were stride for stride. And so now Salah can move it along a little bit. Honestly, it's genius. But then from there, he's now sent him over this way. But he's also ahead of it. He's that split second ahead of it. He's utterly in control throughout. So now he cuts back. It's brilliant. And so now from here, he's got that distance. Look at the distance he's now got on Gvardiol. It's outstanding. Whilst all this was going on, Nico Gonzalez has not been paying attention. He's not understanding the danger. He is allowing these two who are ready to work hard and capable of working harder than Nico Gonzalez. Also, do you remember Kevin De Bruyne? Yeah, I don't know where he is. Kevin De Bruyne is here. Oh, Kevin De Bruyne is here. alongside these two. We'll come back to that. So by this point, and please just go back and watch that Salah goal. It's just stunning. And so now, so much time. He's just got to find him now. A lot of separation from these two as well. And now Salah's got the ball. He's got that distance between him. And this is a second thing that's going to be hugely underrated when it comes to this goal. It's this man here, Curtis Jones. Because why, on initial watch, I was thinking, why is it so easy? Why has he got so much time to put it in the back of the net? It's because of Curtis Jones. Check this out. Look at his running. By this point, he doesn't need to drive like this, but he wants to. And I think Arne Slot has instructed him. It's been a huge thing throughout my analysis of watching them, is just these late runs, these willing runs, time and again, both ways, to be honest, because Luis Diaz is a big one for that the other way. But by doing this, you affect this guy. His body weight, he wants to go to him. He can see that pass is happening. He's concerned with Salah, okay, so he has to go to him. And Nico Gonzalez has got to smell the danger quicker, but he doesn't. So by the time the pass gets made to him, Curtis Jones is making this run. And so importantly, Kushinov is on his heels because he has been affected by that player there. And you can see it here, on his heels, because of Curtis Jones. So by the time he gets the ball, the person that Ake was hoping would get to him can't do it because of this man here, because he wanted it more than that Man City midfield. And so he's miles away from him. And it allows him that touch. By the way, we've still not seen Kevin De Bruyne. There he is. We now finally see Kevin De Bruyne. It's too late. The ball goes in. That midfield is frustrated. And Kevin De Bruyne has his hands in the air. And I've got to be honest, you can't put your hands up in the air, Kevin. Like, you're one of the greatest. I love watching him play. But as a team, you've got to get back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at it's gargantuan. So we'll go along this front line. Look at the distance. That's too much. But it's because of his energy. It's because of his energy. It's certainly because of his energy. And it's because of his ability, Trent at the back, to be able to play that pass. It's absolutely outstanding. And it could have been worse. Similar stuff, easy stuff. Able to play it through the line. This is a disallowed goal. There is a positive in here for Man City. But look at the space. Look at the space. Look how easy it is for Szoboszlai. Look how much space he's got. Absolutely incredible stuff. The pass gets played. Ake doesn't get tight to him, doesn't affect him, doesn't touch him, doesn't put a hand both sides. Probably because he's seen him and he's afraid that he's going to make a run into this space here because this Liverpool team works harder, cares more. I can't say cares more, that's not fair. But has the legs, certainly. So he's able to absolutely turn. So easy. He's concerned. He's concerned about both of those players. Doesn't want Salah to get the ball. Jeremy Doku. Fancy coming back. Marmoush. Fancy coming back. Not too bothered, really. And this has been the problem all season. Look at the space he's got here. So much space. And Szoboszlai makes that run again. And this is... It's 50-50 here. It's as much about Szoboszlai. I've done videos this year about how incredible this guy is. The running that he does, and he deserves so much credit for what he's done this season. He's been absolutely outstanding to the point that he's looking like this by the end of the game. That's what you've got. And some Liverpool fans, don't see it or get it. I can't not... When I watch Liverpool, watch Szoboszlai. Like, honestly... He's absolutely fantastic. The work rate means that you can play this direct style without a striker and still affect the game in this way. He plays the ball. Szoboszlai, he's got the ball, doesn't stop, keeps running. And remember, your strikerless, your two midfielders making that run are up there. And they get away with it, Man City. Okay, yes, it's offside, but it shows how open they are. But look at this. Nico Gonzalez, and obviously he's literally just got there, but for whatever reason, he's literally looking at Szoboszlai, and he's decided, I'm not going to track him. It'd be a miss for me to not point that out, I'm afraid. But the whole back line is kind of all over the place. And Szoboszlai's kind of making them quit. In these transitions, he's making them quit. He saw it, wasn't be able to put the afterburners on and get back here and track his man and go, do you know what? Let's just make sure we're all right. Ball gets played. And here is the good thing, right? Look at Kushinov. This is the reason why it's not a goal. Kushinov has the presence of mind to put his arm backwards. Look at his left arm. Here, he moves his arm back, and that's actually what means that Szoboszlai is offside. That and the fact that Gravenberch doesn't play the ball quickly enough despite not having any kind of pressure on him at all. So the ball goes through, and as you can see from VAR, it is because he keeps his arm backwards. So pretty clever stuff from Kushinov, who actually, I thought he had a good game. I thought Rico Lewis had a really, really good game as well. I could pick apart Man City all day long, but this is Liverpool's night. We are watching the champions of this country, and it's an outstanding achievement when you think of what normally happens. Someone has a dynasty, like Jurgen Klopp, or whatever word you want to use. He's been outstanding for them. They go on, a new manager comes in, and are they able to find the difference? But I actually think, as much as this is a triumph for Arne Slot and the refinement of this team, a word I've used a lot when we talk about this team leaves it all out there. They work so hard. And I think it's so great that Salah gets a goal and assist because I think he's so incredible, but also Szoboszlai is involved in both of these because this, I think, does speak volumes for this team that they, of those top teams who've got a lot of quality, this lot work the hardest by some way. And just to finally prove it, this guy's supposedly the kind of striker within this team today. This is Curtis Jones of the two in terms of his defensive actions. That's Szoboszlai. Outstanding. They've got the quality, of course, but they behaved like champions today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.